What every father should tell his son about money. One of the first and most crucial lessons a father should teach his son about money is the importance of earning it honestly and ethically. In a world where shortcuts can often seem tempting, and where many people glorify the quick gains over the steady climb, it's critical to instill in young men the understanding that how you earn your money matters just as much as how much you earn. Money earned through honest work carries with it a certain sense of pride and dignity. It's not just a reflection of what you have, but of who you are. Working hard, staying committed to a craft, and maintaining integrity builds not only financial wealth, but character. There's a saying that a man who cheats the system will eventually cheat himself. This couldn't be truer when we consider the long-term impact of dishonest gain. Whether it's lying, manipulating, or cutting corners, these actions may bring temporary rewards, but they leave a lasting stain on one's reputation and self-worth. A father must make it clear to his son that the foundation of wealth should never come at the cost of one's integrity. Beyond just personal pride, working ethically also fosters trust. Trust is an invaluable currency in both personal and business relationships. When people trust you, opportunities open up. You become someone others want to work with, partner with, and support. In contrast, the moment you lose that trust, it's incredibly difficult to regain. A man who earns his wealth dishonestly will find himself isolated in the long run, because no one wants to align with someone whose word or actions are unreliable. Teach your son that trust, like money, is hard to earn but incredibly easy to lose. Honest money also tends to have more longevity. Fast, easy money might come quickly, but it leaves just as fast. When wealth is built on solid foundations of hard work, skill development, and perseverance, it's much more likely to last. It's a simple principle. What you sow, you reap. If you plant seeds of deception and shortcuts, the harvest will be short-lived and empty. But if you plant seeds of effort, skill, and honesty, the harvest will be abundant and lasting. The satisfaction that comes from knowing every dollar was earned with integrity far outweighs the fleeting thrill of ill-gotten gains. Money without honor is like food without taste. This simple yet powerful idea should echo in every man's mind. Sure, money buys material things, but when it's earned at the expense of integrity, those things become hollow. You can surround yourself with all the trappings of wealth, but if you've compromised your values to get there, it will never bring you true satisfaction. A father must help his son understand that money is not just a tool to acquire things, but a reflection of how you've chosen to live your life. A man who earns his way honestly can look at himself in the mirror with pride, and that inner peace is worth more than any dollar amount. Finally, it's important to remind your son that life has its seasons. There will be times when earning money seems incredibly difficult. Maybe he's stuck in a dead-end job or trying to launch a business that just won't take off. These are the moments where character is truly tested. It's during these times that the temptation to take the easy way out will be the strongest. But this is also when it's most important to double down on ethics and integrity, because the challenges he faces now will shape the man he becomes in the future. A man who remains committed to earning money honestly, even in tough times, will develop a strength of character that no amount of money can buy. In the end, the lesson is simple yet profound. It's not just about making money, it's about the kind of man you become in the process. As a father, teaching your son to value integrity over income is one of the most powerful gifts you can give him. One of the most critical lessons a father can impart to his son is the profound connection between money and freedom. From a young age, many people are taught that money is simply a means to buy things: cars, homes, vacations. But what's often overlooked is that money represents something much more valuable: the ability to control your own life and make choices that align with your values. Money, at its core, is about freedom. The freedom to decide how you spend your time, where you live, and what path you want to take in life. Think of money as a tool. It's not the end goal, but a resource that allows you to make decisions on your own terms. Without money, your choices are limited. You become dependent on others, whether that's a job you despise, a situation you want to escape, or even people whose values don't align with yours. A father should make it clear to his son that financial independence isn't just about buying luxury. It's about buying the freedom to live life on your terms. That's a kind of wealth that can't be measured in bank balances alone. For instance, consider the man who has no savings, no investments, and relies solely on his paycheck to get by. He's trapped in a cycle. He wakes up every day not because he wants to, but because he has to. He's not making choices about his life. Those choices are being made for him by necessity. If his job becomes unbearable, he can't leave because he's chained to the paycheck. If an opportunity to do something more meaningful comes up, he can't pursue it because he's locked into his current financial situation. This isn't freedom. It's a form of financial slavery. On the other hand, a man who has built a strong financial foundation through saving, investing, and living within his means has options. He can walk away from a toxic job, move to a city that better suits his lifestyle, or take time off to explore a passion. Money provides him with the freedom to say no to things that don't serve him and yes to things that do. This is the ultimate form of wealth, the ability to choose the life you want to live. A father should also teach his son that freedom isn't just about having enough money to do what you want right now. It's about ensuring that you maintain that freedom in the future. Many young men are focused on immediate gratification. They think about the present and what money can buy them today, without considering how their financial choices now will impact their future freedom. It's crucial to instill the mindset that short-term sacrifices lead to long-term freedom. Whether it's saving for the future, investing in skills, or resisting the urge to spend recklessly, these choices are investments in your son's future freedom. Another key point to emphasize is that true freedom comes from avoiding the traps that society often sets for young men. Debt, for example, is one of the biggest obstacles to financial freedom. It's easy to fall into the allure of easy credit, whether it's for a car, a house, or material possessions. But debt is the enemy of freedom. Every dollar owed is a chain, restricting your ability to make independent choices. The more debt you accumulate, the less freedom you have. A father must teach his son that just because you can buy something on credit doesn't mean you should. Living below your means and avoiding unnecessary debt is one of the most powerful ways to secure personal freedom. However, freedom doesn't just mean financial independence from work or debt. It's also about time. Time is the one resource we can never get back. When you have financial freedom, you also have the ability to choose how you spend your time. You can invest in meaningful experiences, relationships, and personal growth. You're not stuck working overtime just to pay the bills. And you're not spending every moment worrying about money. Financial freedom allows you to focus on the things that truly matter, like family, health, and personal fulfillment. Finally, it's essential to teach your son that with freedom comes responsibility. Money can free you from external constraints, but it also demands that you take control of your own life. When you're financially independent, you no longer have the excuse of being forced into situations. It's up to you to decide how to use your freedom wisely. Will you pursue meaningful work, or will you chase material excess? Will you invest in relationships and personal growth, or will you waste your freedom on shallow pursuits? True freedom requires discipline and wisdom, and a father must guide his son in using his financial freedom for a life that reflects his values and aspirations. In summary, money is more than just currency. It's the key to unlocking freedom. The freedom to live life on your own terms, to make choices that align with your values, and to walk away from anything that doesn't serve you. Every decision your son makes about money will either bring him closer to or further from that freedom. As a father, it's your duty to ensure he understands that financial independence is the gateway to living a life of purpose, control, and fulfillment. One of the most valuable lessons a father can teach his son about money is the power of saving and investing early. In a world that constantly pushes instant gratification, where young men are encouraged to spend their money on the latest gadgets, cars, and experiences, it's easy to overlook the long-term benefits of financial discipline. However, the earlier your son starts saving and investing, the greater his financial stability and freedom will be in the future. The first principle to emphasize is simple. Time is one of the greatest assets when it comes to building wealth. A young man who begins saving and investing in his 20s has an enormous advantage over someone who waits until their 30s or 40s. This is thanks to the power of compound interest, which Albert Einstein famously referred to as the eighth wonder of the world. Compound interest allows money to grow exponentially over time, as the returns on investments themselves begin to generate returns. In other words, the money your son saves today can multiply into much larger amounts over the years, without requiring him to work harder, just smarter. To drive this point home, imagine two individuals. One who starts investing $100 a month at age 25, and another who starts the same at 35. Even if both invest the same amount each month, the person who started at 25 will have significantly more by the time they both reach retirement. The difference is not because they contributed more, but because they allowed time to work in their favor. A father should make sure his son understands this crucial lesson. It's not about how much you make, but how early you start. Saving, however, isn't just about hoarding money for the future. It's about creating a financial safety net that allows for security and opportunities in life. Life is unpredictable and emergencies will happen, whether it's an unexpected medical bill, a car repair, or even a sudden job loss. Having savings set aside ensures that your son can handle these situations without sinking into debt or financial ruin. Financial resilience is an essential part of adulthood, and having savings is the foundation of that resilience. Equally important is the lesson that saving alone is not enough. Money that sits in a bank account does not grow, it loses value due to inflation. This is why investing is the second crucial piece of the puzzle. While saving is about protecting your financial future, investing is about growing it. A father should teach his son the difference between merely saving and actively investing in assets that will build wealth over time. But how should a young man approach investing? It can be intimidating for someone just starting out, with the overwhelming amount of information and the risks involved. The key is to focus on long-term growth and avoid the temptation to chase quick returns. Many people get caught up in the excitement of stock market trends or speculative investments, but the most successful investors understand the importance of patience and discipline. A father should advise his son to invest in solid, time-tested assets like index funds, real estate, or businesses with proven track records. These kinds of investments grow steadily over time, providing both stability and returns that compound. It's also crucial to remind your son that investing isn't about timing the market, but rather time in the market. Trying to predict when stocks will rise or fall is a fool's game. Many young men might be tempted to jump in and out of investments based on headlines or the latest financial trends, but this approach rarely leads to long-term success. Instead, consistent, disciplined investing, regardless of market conditions, tends to yield the best results over time. Teach him that setbacks and downturns are inevitable, but those who stay the course reap the rewards in the long run. A key concept that should be emphasized is the idea of paying yourself first. When a paycheck comes in, most people prioritize paying bills, buying essentials, and then spending what's left on leisure or luxuries. Saving and investing often come last if they happen at all. But the most successful individuals do the opposite. They pay themselves first by automatically setting aside a portion of their income for savings and investments before they spend on anything else. This simple habit can make a world of difference over the years, as it ensures that your financial future is always being taken care of before short-term desires. A father should encourage his son to adopt this mindset early. Treat saving and investing as non-negotiable, like paying rent or any other important expense. Another powerful lesson is that wealth building through investing doesn't require huge sums of money. Many young people believe they need to be making a lot of money before they can start investing, but this is a misconception. Even small amounts, consistently invested over time, can grow into significant sums thanks to the power of compounding. The key is not the amount, but the habit. If your son develops the habit of regularly putting money into savings and investments, regardless of the amount, he will build a financial future that most people only dream of. As with anything in life, the earlier these habits are formed, the more natural and effective they become. A father's guidance in fostering a mindset of delayed gratification, where saving and investing are prioritized over unnecessary spending, can set his son up for a lifetime of financial security. In the end, saving and investing early is not just about wealth. It's about the freedom to live a life with choices, opportunities, and security. By starting now, your son is not just investing in his bank account, but in his future. One of the most crucial conversations a father can have with his son about money is the inherent danger of debt. In a society where credit cards, loans, and financing plans are heavily promoted, it's easy for young men to fall into the trap of living beyond their means. The message is often, you can have it now and pay later. But what many fail to realize is that debt not only chains you financially, it steals your future. Debt, especially unnecessary debt, is one of the greatest obstacles to financial freedom and a life of independence. Debt, at its core, represents borrowed time and money. When you take on debt, you're committing your future earnings to pay for something you couldn't afford in the present. That means you're robbing your future self of financial options and opportunities. Instead of building wealth and having the freedom to choose how to spend your money, you're locked into a cycle of repaying what you owe. A father must make his son understand that debt is the antithesis of financial freedom. The more debt you have, the fewer choices you'll be able to make. Take credit cards, for example. It's easy to swipe a card without feeling the immediate impact of spending, but what starts as a small purchase here and there can quickly spiral into significant debt. Credit card companies make money by charging high interest rates on unpaid balances, which means that even a relatively small amount of debt can grow into something unmanageable if it's left unchecked. A $500 balance can quickly turn into $1,000 or more, as interest compounds and late fees pile up. Before long, your son could find himself working not for his goals or future, but just to keep his head above water. It's also important to stress that not all debt is created equal. There is a distinction between good debt and bad debt, and this is a lesson every young man should learn early. Good debt, such as a mortgage on a reasonably priced home or a student loan that leads to a valuable education, is an investment in the future. These types of debts can lead to wealth creation or better opportunities down the line. Bad debt, on the other hand, typically refers to debt incurred for depreciating assets or unnecessary luxuries. Credit card debt for clothes, electronics, or vacations that lose their value immediately after purchase. Bad debt only serves to drain resources without offering any potential return on investment. A father should help his son recognize the difference and encourage him to avoid bad debt at all costs. The guiding principle should be, if you can't afford it today, don't buy it on credit. The discipline to wait until you can pay in full for something, rather than using borrowed money, is one of the most powerful financial habits anyone can develop. It may seem restrictive in the moment, but in the long run, it prevents the financial stress and limitations that come with being weighed down by unnecessary debt. Another key lesson is that debt can often be a symptom of a larger issue: poor control over spending. Many young men get into debt because they haven't learned to live within their means. They're constantly chasing the next purchase, trying to keep up with friends or social expectations, without considering the long-term consequences. In a world of social media where people flaunt their latest cars, gadgets, and vacations, the pressure to spend is immense. But a father must teach his son that appearances can be deceiving. Many of the people who seem wealthy on the outside are drowning in debt behind the scenes. True financial strength comes from knowing how to manage what you have, not from constantly seeking more. Teaching your son to control his expenses is about more than just avoiding debt. It's about cultivating a mindset of financial responsibility. This means setting a budget, tracking where his money is going, and making conscious choices about spending. A budget is not a restriction. It's a tool for freedom. By understanding exactly how much money is coming in and where it's going, your son can make informed decisions that align with his goals and values. Without a budget, money tends to slip through the cracks, and before long, he could find himself wondering where it all went. A budget gives him control over his financial destiny, rather than letting circumstances dictate his path. One of the most valuable habits a father can teach his son is to prioritize needs over wants. It's easy to justify spending on things that aren't necessary in the moment, whether it's eating out, buying the latest tech gadget, or upgrading to a new car. But understanding the difference between what's truly needed and what's simply a desire is key to controlling expenses. A father should emphasize that financial success isn't about depriving oneself of all pleasures, but about making thoughtful, intentional decisions. It's perfectly fine to enjoy life and indulge every now and then, but those indulgences should be planned and affordable, not financed by debt. It's also important to instill the idea that just because you earn more doesn't mean you should spend more. As young men advance in their careers and start earning higher incomes, there's a natural temptation to upgrade their lifestyle accordingly. This is often referred to as lifestyle inflation. The more you make, the more you spend. But this mindset is dangerous because it prevents you from ever truly getting ahead. No matter how much money you earn, if you spend it all, or more, you'll never build wealth. A father should teach his son the power of living below his means, no matter what his income level. This discipline will allow him to save, invest, and build a financial future that isn't tied to his next paycheck. Lastly, it's essential to remember that financial freedom isn't just about avoiding debt. It's about using money as a tool to create opportunities. When you're not burdened by debt or constantly worrying about how to pay the bills, you can focus on things that truly matter: pursuing passions, building meaningful relationships, and investing in your personal development. Debt robs you of that freedom by making you a slave to your financial obligations. A father must make sure his son understands that controlling his expenses and avoiding debt will give him the power to live life on his own terms. In conclusion, debt may seem like a quick solution to financial wants, but it ultimately restricts your future. By teaching your son to avoid unnecessary debt and to control his expenses, you're giving him the tools he needs to achieve financial independence. Debt is a burden that can weigh down even the most ambitious men, but financial discipline can set your son on a path of freedom, security, and long-term success. One of the most powerful concepts a father can teach his son about money is the fundamental difference between assets and liabilities. This distinction is often overlooked or misunderstood, yet it's the foundation upon which true financial success is built. Without a clear understanding of what enriches you, assets, and what drains you financially, liabilities, even high incomes or large sums of money can vanish quickly. The secret to building wealth lies in accumulating assets and minimizing liabilities. So, what is an asset? Simply put, an asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. It's something that works for you, whether you're actively engaged with it or not. Assets generate income, appreciate in value, or save you money. These can include investments like stocks, bonds, and real estate, as well as businesses or intellectual property like patents or books that produce royalties. The key feature of an asset is that it provides ongoing financial benefit without requiring constant input. Liabilities, on the other hand, are the opposite. They take money out of your pocket. A liability is any expense or financial obligation that drains your income. These are things that cost you money to maintain or acquire, but do not produce any financial return. Common liabilities include loans, credit card debt, and depreciating assets like cars or luxury items. Although liabilities might seem to provide value in the moment, they ultimately hinder wealth creation because they require continuous payments or lose value over time. One of the most common mistakes young men make is confusing liabilities with assets. For instance, many people believe that their home is their greatest asset. While it's true that a house can increase in value over time, it's important to understand that the home you live in is often more of a liability than an asset. Why? Because it takes money out of your pocket every month in the form of mortgage payments, taxes, maintenance, and utilities. Unless the home is generating rental income or will be sold at a significant profit later, it's not truly making you wealthier in the short term. Contrast this with a rental property, which is a true asset. A rental property puts money into your pocket every month in the form of rental income, and its value may appreciate over time, providing you with a future financial benefit. The distinction is crucial. The house you live in costs you money, while a rental property pays you. A father must teach his son to see these differences clearly. Just because something is expensive or appears valuable doesn't necessarily mean it's an asset. A car is another classic example of a liability disguised as an asset. A young man might be tempted to buy a brand new car thinking it's a sign of financial success. However, most cars are depreciating assets, meaning they lose value the moment they are driven off the lot. They also incur ongoing costs such as insurance, maintenance, and fuel. While having reliable transportation is essential, it's important to see a car for what it is: a necessary expense, not an investment. If anything, the goal should be to minimize car-related expenses and avoid luxury purchases that don't provide a return. Once your son understands the difference between assets and liabilities, he can begin to make smarter financial decisions. The goal should be to focus on acquiring assets that will generate income and help grow wealth over time. This means thinking beyond short-term desires and asking critical questions before making purchases. Will this item appreciate in value? Will it generate income? Will it help me achieve financial freedom? If the answer is no, it's likely a liability that will only slow down the journey to wealth. It's also important to help your son recognize that some liabilities can be strategically managed, especially when they are tied to long-term wealth creation. For instance, taking out a loan to purchase an investment property can be considered good debt because it's being used to acquire an asset that generates income. However, this is only true if the rental income exceeds the loan payments and other expenses. The key is not to avoid debt entirely, but to only take on debt when it's tied to something that will increase wealth over time. Another critical lesson is that building assets doesn't happen overnight. It's a long-term strategy. Many young men may feel discouraged if they don't have the capital to immediately invest in things like property or stocks. But it's important to remind them that assets can start small. For example, a young man can begin by investing in low-cost index funds or starting a side business that generates passive income. The key is to start somewhere, no matter how small, and to continue building over time. The wealthiest people in the world didn't get there by winning the lottery. They built their fortunes by steadily accumulating assets and minimizing liabilities over decades. In addition, a father should emphasize that an asset can also be something less tangible but just as valuable: knowledge and skills. Investing in your education, personal growth, or career can be one of the best investments you make because it increases your earning potential and opens up more opportunities. Skills and knowledge can never be taken away from you, and they often have the highest return on investment. Whether it's learning a trade, mastering a business skill, or becoming an expert in a specific field, these investments pay dividends in the form of higher income and greater career opportunities. Lastly, the difference between assets and liabilities extends beyond financial products and possessions. It's a mindset. A father must teach his son to think like an investor in all areas of life. This means making decisions based on long-term benefits rather than short-term pleasures. Whether it's choosing a career path, a relationship, or even how to spend free time, the same principles apply. Will this enrich me, improve my situation, and contribute to my future, or will it drain my energy, resources, and potential? This mindset shift is what separates those who achieve lasting success from those who are constantly struggling to stay afloat. In conclusion, understanding the difference between assets and liabilities is one of the most critical financial lessons a young man can learn. It's the foundation of wealth building, and it requires discipline, patience, and a willingness to delay gratification. By teaching your son to prioritize acquiring assets and minimizing liabilities, you're equipping him with the knowledge and mindset needed to create a life of financial security and independence. A man who understands this difference is a man who can control his financial future, rather than being controlled by it. One of the most important lessons a father can pass on to his son about financial independence is the power of creating multiple streams of income. Relying solely on one income source, usually a job, can be risky in today's world. Economic downturns, layoffs, or unexpected events can leave someone vulnerable if they only have one source of money flowing in. To truly build wealth and long-term financial security, it's essential to diversify income streams, creating multiple avenues that can continue to generate money even when one of them dries up. The concept of multiple streams of income is simple. Instead of depending on just one paycheck, you cultivate several different ways to earn money. These income streams can be active, requiring direct involvement like a job or side hustle, or passive, earning money with little to no ongoing effort, like investments or royalties. By having more than one source of income, you're not only reducing your financial risk, but you're also setting yourself up for greater wealth-building opportunities. To begin with, the modern job market is constantly changing. In the past, a man could often work for one company his entire life and retire with a pension. Those days are largely gone. Today, companies restructure, downsize, or automate jobs more than ever before, meaning job security is far from guaranteed. This is why it's critical to teach your son not to put all his financial eggs in one basket. Depending entirely on one job or one source of income leaves him vulnerable to circumstances beyond his control. If that income source disappears, he could find himself in a financially precarious situation. Multiple income streams act as a safety net, ensuring that if one stream dries up, the others can keep him afloat. A father should also explain that while having a good-paying job is important, the job alone won't lead to true financial freedom. Jobs are limited by time and energy. There are only so many hours in a day, and relying solely on active income, where you exchange time for money, puts a ceiling on how much you can earn. This is why building passive income streams is such a powerful strategy. Passive income is money earned without needing constant input or direct involvement. This can come from investments, rental properties, dividends, or royalties from intellectual property, like books or online courses. One of the easiest ways to start building passive income is through investments. Whether it's stocks, bonds, or real estate, these assets can generate income over time with minimal effort. For instance, dividends from stocks or interest from bonds provide regular income without requiring constant attention. Real estate is another excellent option. By purchasing rental properties, your son can generate monthly income from tenants while also building equity in the property itself. Over time, as the property's value appreciates, he can either sell it for a profit or continue to earn rental income for years to come. Side businesses or side hustles are another valuable way to create additional income streams. Encourage your son to think about his skills, passions, and hobbies. There's often a way to monetize them. Whether it's freelancing, starting an online business, or offering consulting services in a field he's skilled in, side hustles allow him to earn extra money while also diversifying his income. The beauty of a side business is that it can often grow into something larger, possibly even replacing a traditional job down the road. It also builds entrepreneurial skills, which are valuable for adapting in an ever-changing economy. Technology has made it easier than ever to start a side business or generate passive income. Platforms like YouTube, podcasts, blogging, or creating digital products, like online courses or ebooks, allow individuals to share their knowledge or content with a global audience. Once created, these can generate ongoing revenue through advertising, sponsorships, or product sales, providing yet another passive income stream. A father should encourage his son to take advantage of these modern tools to build financial independence. Another key point to emphasize is the importance of reinvesting profits from these additional income streams. The mistake many people make is that when they start earning extra money, they immediately spend it on lifestyle upgrades, new cars, expensive vacations, or the latest tech gadgets. But for true financial success, a father should teach his son to reinvest those profits. Whether it's putting money back into the business to help it grow, investing in more real estate, or buying additional stocks, the idea is to use money to generate more money. This is how wealth compounds over time. Moreover, creating multiple streams of income isn't just about making more money. It's also about increasing financial stability and resilience. Life is unpredictable. Recessions, health issues, or unexpected expenses can strike at any time. Having multiple streams of income provides a cushion in those moments, allowing your son to weather the storm without falling into debt or financial ruin. Financial resilience is one of the most valuable assets a person can have, and it comes from diversifying income sources. A father should also make clear that building multiple income streams takes time, patience, and effort. It's not an overnight process, and it requires a willingness to learn new skills, take calculated risks, and invest in opportunities. But the long-term rewards are worth it. With consistent effort and a smart approach, your son can set himself up for financial freedom and security that few people achieve. It's important to instill in your son the mindset that income diversification is not just for the wealthy. It's something that anyone can do, starting small and building over time. Whether it's investing a small amount in stocks, starting a side gig, or buying a rental property, the key is to start early and keep building. Each new income stream adds a layer of protection and opportunity to his financial life. Finally, it's important to remember that the ultimate goal isn't just to make more money. It's to create a life of freedom, flexibility, and security. Multiple streams of income allow your son to have options. Options to take time off work, to travel, to pursue passions, or to weather economic downturns without fear. It's about having the power to live life on your terms, rather than being at the mercy of a single paycheck. That's the true value of diversifying income. It buys freedom. In conclusion, teaching your son to create multiple streams of income is one of the most powerful lessons you can impart. It's not just about making more money. It's about securing his financial future, building wealth, and ultimately, gaining the freedom to live life on his own terms. With discipline, effort, and the right strategies, he can build a financial foundation that will serve him well for the rest of his life.